or come to other places, workplaces, and be violent, especially to the women.
We cannot divorce the whole issue of gender violence from the economic relationships within the world economy, because it is an aberration, and we want a society that is harmonious. We want a society that is built on peace.
One of the biggest problems we have as a country is enforcement of laws. And so our work as advocates and activists would even increase once the bill is passed.
A man will go to the extent of beating the woman up to damaging the eye or breaking the leg, the arm, or any other thing of that sort. And the woman, we don't expect the woman even to use something like that.
We are pleading with the stakeholders or the NGOs that if they can come to our aid with any means of transport, especially the medical form, the doctor charge 150,000 before they endorse it for the complainants. If the Ghana Health Service can come in and assist so that any medical form bearing the name WAJU or DVVSU the fee should be waived. Or yes, it can be endorsed free, so that because especially the rape victims, somebody is raped and is traumatized. So without that money, it means her medical form cannot be endorsed.
Money, even or compensation or whatever, cannot do anything for the victim. The damage has been done and it is irreparable.
Domestic violence impacts on a lot of women, and that is not allowing full participation of everyone in the development of the nation. The health of a woman is indeed the health of the family, of the community, and therefore of the nation.
If you're solving a problem, dealing with human nature is a complex thing. One solution that will work for Madam A might not work for Madam B.
I would say that it's costing not only the victim, but I think the nation in general. When men perpetrate violence against women, the nation suffers, the whole nation suffers. So I think we should do what we can to make sure that this violence is stopped.
If you have a problem and you sort of go into denial, you think the problem doesn't exist or you don't want to do anything about it, the problem keeps on rearing its ugly head at you, and you better watch out. If you don't take care, one day it's going to hit you really hard.
Kura ense abayase ene aban nyina eni sawoso na community based anti-violence team combat here gender center ene sedep atibi wo convince enam so aboa ma asomdie abakuruma no yedi tibi wo nkronkro bia so na sempo ememben se na anchechire so hunu broni sensitization education enkoso bebre ma obi ehunu sentia anasusaso a ekayeka de ba ene ntia ehia se isi ayekayeka de ano.
The education must come right from basis, in homes, in schools, from nursery, from kindergarten. Girls should not be treated differently.
Gender issues near the bus school no ma ebeboa if you say some amofre ya ye chiro ma de o ma na dache o mu ba benyini abaye mpanimpa ewo oman hu hase nti se ye de ba na ye de be chiro mu abamu ma hu ma sede be ma mema no so hu ma sede fi sede ena ne hu sede be ma timi ye no oba so etimi ye saa.
Most workplaces don't have standards of practice when it comes to sexual violence, and anything goes. We should be able to have some kind of policy on sexual violence or gender violence in the workplace.
I believe that corporate Ghana, companies can do a lot in minimizing, if not eliminating, these practices, because I believe that each company should be able to have units that would be able to provide counseling for their staff, and even if they don't have units within the company, they can occasionally bring in people outside the company to come and then counsel their staff on issues like this.
Women, for instance, should stop their self-blaming and know that it is their right.
You see, I no kwan say checheni bia nsoma akora bia so onfa nkrata nkofi titiru emaya omanyinyin no ni kwan say yesumo omo nti ebasa ema omunya kwan na emaya no enye bibisa afi wa okura ebehu say wo ne abaya bi ejirejina na say wo don sa abo abaya bi bobone no atutwen fata wo say ema director sunti.
We need to strengthen our policy, strengthen our laws, and then ensure policy implementation and law enforcement.
They need a mechanism whereby they could settle cases, what we call alternative dispute resolution, which comprises of negotiation, mediation, and arbitration, so that when they sit on these cases, they could choose any of these to settle their cases. They need these counseling skills to be able to handle the victims or the perpetrators that come to them.
So we have to look at the systems that give rise to the violence itself.
We should protect the victim. We should support the victim. We should all help to eliminate and eradicate this social evil of violence against women. Because with this going on, there's not going to be any development in our country.
Be aware of yourself and the vulnerability just by being a woman. People will want to touch you, people will want to defile you simply because you're a woman and you are seen as a sex object.
Violence against women, violence against children, violence against men cannot be encouraged.
Here, people listen much to theologians, religious leaders, more than any other person. So let these religious leaders be the spearheaders of this very issue.
On the need for the women to constantly report those abuses to the authorities, particularly the police, Waju and Shraj, and to the imams and chiefs, so that at least if they can't solve those problems locally at their homes, then they can carry them forward to the police.
Mo rami kolo jango ka fonsi no kase nyumo no na ha o me enyagba eni wotoni ke ni nge declare e ko ji ko ma semi no semi ne bia pe ne wose ko o ko de ke ile jini ko le kan ko ana yoko ne ngoye ne ngemo wa ona ka ma wuji jama yuone be ne hia no fa ko ne hia kan o ke ma nsi no ke ma de onye de ne sisi no ne ba bia pe ne nyemra cho wi o me ne eto onye chinchum zobi en pe zonwa ma de kwitiji wa ha yo me bumi ne nyumo yo mo na ha obumi ne sisi no ne nsinga wa kla kwati
to continue working with policy makers, because they are there standing in for us as citizens of this country, and they are the ones who attend all the big meetings, and they are the ones who sign all the agreements and conventions, and so we must hold them accountable in terms of making good their commitments to these agreements, and to get them to implement some of these agreements that would enhance the well-being of women and all citizens of our society.
Besam chese achechefo no o se omodu omobra esi ho omobo bra e fata omotwe omofri saa ne ma funu ni nyina ho ne ma bone na di enmuase ebre achechefo wo mamu ha no o so omotwe omo ho afri ho no ombo bra e fata se de ba ya amofra nso besua so. We say, yeah, children of friend, you must see some cassia passing over no. Now, yet me, I can crunch and some of the children of Frano. I'm almost so about Benina and Penimpa. I'm a mobile bob rapper. I'm a gun, I swear to me, I found into my perfra.
The park bubble, the yellow amanati to dapper. There's only self come with your melpa, your melona also.
And there's no need to turn your woman to a punching bag.